we're going to do this, but we're going to do it our way.
You bought a robot, baby?
Wow, that was a joke grenade. That took me a second. Imagine the poop emoji as furniture.
It's weird that we didn't do that 10 minutes ago.
We should have started that before, you know. That makes a lot of sense. Why wouldn't we do that?
Too late now.
Matt, you forgot to disclaimer this part. We're old, and we remember how it used to be. There, go. And it was better then, too. You got to put that in there. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly.
While you guys are weaving belts, I'm going to sing this little tune that I wrote.
We think we're funny. On with the show.
This is X Radio X.
All right, well, I hit record, Matt. It looks like it's time to start this episode of X Radio X.
How's it going, buddy?
It's going. It's been an eventful evening, and I have a feeling it's going to get a little bit more eventful here in a few moments.
I'm super duper excited. Thanks for tuning in to X Radio X. This is episode 18, the big 18. We can now legally vote, right?
We're fully legal.
Fully legal. Wink, wink. Nudge, nudge. Know what I mean?
Last episode we were just barely legal. Now we're fully legal. I'm glad my daughter's going to listen to this and go, Dad, what does that mean?
I have to say, Jace, every single thing that we say now, every episode, I think of your daughter listening to it. I've been cursed by this now. Every single thing.
Notice it hasn't stopped me, so don't feel bad if you say something wrong.
Yeah, that's why I keep going.
She just comes to me and it's like, well, you met her, so you can now imagine the face when she does this.
Yes.
Dad, what were you and Matt talking about? What was that? Ask your mother.
Yeah, there you go. That's good.
All right, so it's episode 18, and we have a special guest, Matt.
More than a special guest. This is probably, and no disrespect to all of our previous guests, but this is the guest that I have been super, super excited about getting her on the show because we don't really get to catch up with her at all. We saw her when we did our, what do you call it? Alumni show.
When we ushered in the pandemic.
When we brought the pandemic to you. You're welcome. And so, but there's so many stories and so much fun that we've had in college with our good friend, Bridgette. So, Bridgette, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited and moved by your introduction that I am going to both cry and vomit. So,
perfect.
Enjoy that.
It's like we never left the station.
So, we're excited to have you on the show. But before we do anything fun, we have to do some legal stuff first. And This is purely because we have sensitive ear holes that listen to this podcast and we don't want to offend anybody. And so we want to give everyone fair warning that stuff happens.
And I just want to reiterate the other part of why we do this is because we are highly trained professionals. And much of that initial training we owe to this person.
Oh,
who was
that's
about
true.
To.
That's
yes,
true.
It is.
Yes.
Well, now
Very
it's terrifying.
Yeah, we're gonna build that pedestal up as high as we can.
Thank
so
you.
when we kick it out, the fall is fantastic.
So we have a disclaimer, and we've given you the disclaimer to read.
Yes, I have it here
for us. So take it away whenever you're ready.
All right, here we go. Go then.
Go ahead.
I, Bridgette, last name removed, give Matt and Jace my full permission to use the 7 deadly words at their discretion. I support their use of the words shit, piss, fuck, cunt, cocksucker, motherfucker, and tits. FYI, we all agree that piss and tits don't belong on this list. Anyways, be warned that Matt and Jace now have my full permission as their former manager to curse, so watch the fuck out, bitches, and on with the show, motherfuckers.
That's it. Right there.
I'm just glad that she supports the use of those words.
Now have her full support.
The older I get, the more I curse, and in my current job, it's really frowned upon, so it's nice to just say it.
Is it?
Yeah.
So here's what I've noticed in 18 episodes. We curse the most in the disclaimer about cursing.
Yeah,
that's
actually,
really
true.
Where we get most of it out, and then the rest of the show is pretty tame.
Actually, if people stop listening after the disclaimer, I totally understand. Because that's the funniest part most of the time.
I like that you guys keep calling it a Dick's Claimer. Get a little extra in there.
Yeah.
Okay. So now that we got our big bout of professionalism out of the way,
That was so
and everybody is warned that we may use the 7 deadly words.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't really know what those are, I mean, Bridgette just said them for you.
Yeah.
You can all head out to the YouTubes there and look up George Carlin, and he'll do a very funny skit telling you why you can't use them.
Exactly. So, Bridgette, why don't you start by telling us what we like to talk to all of our former DJ friends. And the nice thing that we can, get into with you is that you did also both college radio and professional radio, which is super cool. But what got you started? What made you decide radio is something that I want to try out? And why did you sign up to be a college radio student DJ? And what's that story?
This is embarrassing actually, now that I'm old. So I, when I first went to college, I wanted to be a veterinarian. So I took all the pre-vet classes and I failed chemistry like twice. So then somebody told me that nursing chemistry was easier. And I was like, well, maybe I'll do that. So I switched to nursing and I failed chemistry twice. And, so I was at a crossroads and, I was visiting my friend in Grand Rapids and she was seeing this really attractive young man named Derek. And he told me, I hope this is okay to talk about. We were just tripping balls at the time. And he was like, man, you have a nice voice. And I was like, do I? And he's like, yeah, you should totally go into radio. So I immediately switched my major to radio. And that is how that happened.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did it until 2012. Yeah. So I had a lot of different gigs, but I did it until 2012.
And what was the first show that you did? Do you remember? Like
I'll never
first
forget
going
it.
on the radio?
Yep. It was, so I did not listen to the Grateful Dead, but I knew that Rudy did. And he was the station manager at the time. And I really wanted to get a show. So I did an all Grateful Dead show on Tuesday mornings from 3 to 6. But since I didn't know Grateful Dead music, I just put on their greatest hits and then talked in between the songs. And I was like, that'll show them. That'll show them.
So an all Grateful Dead show for that amount of time, that was what, 2-3 songs?
Well, their greatest hits has like 10 songs on it, and if you do a lot of talking, you can stretch that out.
And it's a 7-disc set.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Out of curiosity, do you remember what their greatest hits were? Because I can think of 3
Touch
songs.
of Grey.
Touch of Grey.
Okay, there's
From
Touch
the
of Grey,
Devil.
Sugar Magnolia, Casey Jones.
Casey Jones. Yeah.
Casey Jones.
Friend
the
of
guy
the Devil.
from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Friend of the Devil. Yeah. So, but that's all I really remember. Like I said, I was never truly a fan. I was just a big poser.
I think that is amazing.
Are the dogs humping behind me? I'm so sorry.
See, I was going to move right past it, but Chase just couldn't.
I'm sorry, I couldn't.
So
Thank God we're
there
not
it's-
recording the
Get an
video.
eyeful.
But
There it is. You guys.
So you decided on your first show that you were going to do Grateful Dead because Rudy was a Grateful Dead fan?
Yes. Well, I thought that would get me in because, he was notoriously selective.
Yeah.
And we had a couple broadcasting classes together, and I didn't think that he liked me. And so I didn't think he was going to give me a show. So that's what I did. That's how I did that.
And
Yeah,
did
Rudy
he check
was
in on
the
you and
guy.
say, hey, that was a great show. You like the Dead? And you were like, yeah, I do.
He never did one time. We were outside. Remember when the old audio lab, I don't know if you guys know this, the old audio lab was in the basement. Like you had to take a tunnel from the UC to get to the audio lab. We had a class in there and I was sitting on the floor, and this had been like after it was maybe my first or second show, and I forgot to set my alarm, so I didn't go do it. And so Rudy walks up, and he's an imposing figure. And I was like, hey, I'm really sorry I forgot to go. And he was like, do you just want to get fired? Or I was like, oh, nope, that won't happen again. And so I cried. I went in the bathroom and cried for a while, and then I went to class, and it was all right. But yeah.
Wow.
I remember exactly where that audio lab was because right across the hall was the one of the anatomy and physiology labs.
Yes.
And there were dead bodies on tables.
There were dead bodies
in
in there. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep. Yikes.
I actually I remember recording with, I want to say it was definitely Kent, definitely Josh, and I want to say Dill, and maybe Jen was there. We recorded in that lab a few different times.
It was a cute little lab.
Mm-hmm. It's the first place I ever used Pro Tools.
Some of that audio and play it on the podcast. Like, so many people have been talking about, like, oh, I have all these shows recorded and stuff like that, or all these liners, like what Kent has posted on the book face, that he has all those liners and stuff. I feel like he should be sending them to us so we could play it. We would play them like if it was a real radio show.
Yeah. So some of them are still in rotation. I don't know if you know that or not. When you guys were there, if you had any of them, I had, obviously I can't talk about patients too much, but I had a patient recognize me off of one of those a couple of weeks ago. And she she was in she had the most horrible injury. And she had dated one of our DJs, one of our like tertiary level participation DJs.
Wow.
In college. And she was like, I know you. And I was like, oh God, now I have to be nice to you this whole time.
Yeah, right.
And then you're thinking, where do you know me from? Yeah. What radio station? Because that's the personality you're going to expect here in a moment.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
That's crazy. And it is something I think I have heard in the couple times that I've been up there and I've listened, because I always try to listen. I just unfortunately don't stay listening for very long like I used to, but I have heard a couple of the liners, which is always cool, but it would be neat to have them. Like, it would be neat to just have them to be able to just throw in on this every once in a while.
That would be cool.
Yeah. I listen online every once in a while to them, and I'm kind of with you, Matt. As much as I love our old station that we were at, there's no engaging personalities when I tune in. So I'm like, I could do this on Spotify or something.
Yeah, that's just not the focal point, I don't think, anymore. But but the music, I mean, that's cool. I think if they at least like to share their musical favorites with the world or with the greater Marquette area, then that's cool and that's something. But it's still just not. It's just not the same as it used to be. That's
and Bridgette, you're totally allowed to be old and cranky like Matt and I be, and just talk about how it was so much better back in the day.
Well, you got that. Yes, I agree with you. It was better back then to listen to and to participate in, but now they've got to learn technology over on in-person character development. As who they are for their job. Like, they've got to know so many different things. I mean, think about it. When we were there, we were at a really interesting time where we learned cut and splice tape, and we learned Pro Tools. And I mean, now I'm sure they don't have to do tape. Like, they'd probably like, what is this?
There's no chopping block anymore. There's no grease pens. None of that stuff.
Right. But see, that's the thing okay, so here we go. I'm going to try not to beat this dead horse, but that's the thing that we talked about last episode, and we've talked about pretty much in every episode, that the more things are automatic, the more things are done for you, the less you're invested in it. And the less you go into that studio and say, what am I going to create today? Instead, you're saying, how can I babysit this computer today?
Yeah.
And that makes it lame. I mean, you can still pick good music, but it's just, there's nothing there other than, that's cool music. But like you said, you can do that on Spotify or whatever.
Yeah, hold on. I was confused there for a second. I thought we were about to segue into a talk about ownership society or something.
It's
when you
Wall-E.
create it, it's better to you.
Again,
yes, it is Wall-E.
I don't know about you guys, but like when I left Radio X and went to commercial radio, you couldn't even do the artistry of arranging the songs in a way that you felt. There's I don't want to say vibe, like a mood or a pattern or something you want to convey. A flow, yes, a flow. Mm-hmm. You didn't even get to do that. Like, I couldn't mix or take out Celine Dion and throw in a quick anybody else. Yeah, so it's like
that would fit better, like anything.
Something else, yeah. And that was really disheartening, and that was a hard lesson to learn.
Yes.
And my big accomplishment, I certainly won't say anything bad about anybody that I worked with right after college, but I I got my program director to add a Moby song, and I was like, oh, and I felt like I had accomplished something amazing. And then we got a mention in some magazine for being one of the first stations to add Moby. And I was like, oh, cool. He's totally going to listen to me now. And that was the only thing that he ever did. It was just that one Moby song. And so, but I mean, I have that.
That's too close to the sun. You flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy. Yeah, no, I had the exact same experience, and every time I would get to sneak songs by Mark at Sunny, it was always like a big win. It was like, look at this, we're playing this Dave Matthews song that no other station in the area is playing, and it would be like a huge, but it was still like, I don't know, Dave Matthews,
right? Like cool. The most innocuous thing you could add, right?
Yeah, but it was still cool because it was you participating in that process. Whereas normally commercial radio doesn't want you to participate in the process. It wants you to just fill these little gaps of 10, 15, 20 seconds and then move the chain along.
Yeah,
exactly.
It was really, here's your 5 on-air reads when you go from song to song or between commercial break and weather. Throw this in about the local laundromat and their quarter sale and get on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and when I moved to Vegas, I can't remember if we talked about this, but when I went to Vegas from Michigan radio, it was encouraged to voice track. Like it was the preferred method of doing a show was to voice track it in advance. So you weren't actually there. So you were literally just hearing the last 10 seconds of the previous song and the first 10 seconds of the next song or whatever the commercial might be. And you didn't have anything to do with the actual event of the show that you were doing. You just stuck words in, and that was the way they wanted you to do it. And I don't think that people who listen to radio for fun, if there are people that still listen to radio for fun, realize the fact that most of the time the people aren't always there in the studio when they sound like they're there in the studio. And that's just kind of like it's just a weird thing.
I found it odd.
The final nail in the coffin for me with like terrestrial radio was can we say the name of the station that you used to work at? Okay, so at Sunny 102, they had these children who were on, and they do like an 80s weekend or something, and this guy who was like, coming up next, Owingo Bowingo. And I was like, it's Oingo Boingo! Like, and I just...
I bet you hit him with your cane.
Screaming in the car. I was like, no. Why? Go over the Wingo Bowingo.
I don't know.
I'll never forget it. I was so mad.
That's awesome. And you know that they just don't know the song. Like they just have no idea, which is fine, but do a little bit, like invest in the stuff that's going on. Like take a moment to say, let me look this person up or this band up, and so I sound like I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
It doesn't take much.
No, I mean, you have it in your hand. You have a device in your hand that can access all the information in the whole world, so there's no reason for you to say Owingo Bowingo.
And most people, when they use that device, choose to read the wrong thing.
Yeah.
But that's a different story. I remember one of my nails in the coffin for doing music radio, because I worked in talk radio much longer than I worked in music radio, was when I would go in. I was working at a classic rock station here in mid-Michigan, and like Matt said, they didn't just ask you to voice track it. They pretty much told us, you're going to voice track this because you're not the morning show. Yeah. Unless you were the drive times, or maybe in the afternoon too, like lunchtime, you voice tracked. You were not a personality per se. And the nail in the coffin for me was when I would have a 4-hour shift, get it done in an hour and a half to 2 hours voice tracking everything, and hear myself on the way home. And I'm like, I'm not even there.
Right. Yeah.
I'm here in the car. This is bullshit. I'm done.
Yeah. That's not great.
At least in talk radio, when because I would do Sunday mornings, which I know everybody's jealous. It's the best time to do anything in radio,
of course.
At least when it came to bumpers, we could pretty much choose whatever we wanted. I could use whatever bumper music I wanted, as long as, they didn't really want words squeaking through. So I was using pretty much anything current at that time that would work, and nobody said a word. So it was my little bit of, sticking it to the man.
That's right. Definitely. So Bridgette, you, when you started, you were the Grateful Dead show.
Yeah, yes, I was.
How long did that last?
That was one semester.
And you did Grateful Dead for a full semester?
I did, yeah. You know what? And I wasn't the only one. There was also a 3-hour Grateful Dead block on Thursday and Sunday, I think. I mean, there was, yeah. There was.
It's college radio. They still love the Dead.
Yeah,
I guess
it's still a thing.
But for someone who's not actually a fan of the Grateful Dead, it's funny that she stuck it out for a full semester. That's impressive. So then after that semester, what happened next? Like, what was your next thing?
So then I started the Happy and Obnoxious show, which was my show the rest of the time I was in college.
Yeah.
And I don't remember my time slots, but it was mostly like afternoons and stuff. And I was super proud of myself because I thought I was really edgy. But now I look back at my playlist and I just played the same songs in a different order for like 4 years. And then every once in a while I'd be like, oh, a new Soul Coughing album. And so I would play that. And then JB would come in and tell me how lame I was. And, you know, why don't you try anything else? And I was like, no, I'm comfortable with this.
He was really good at that.
Yeah, he was very good at telling all of us how lame we were.
Yes.
Pretty much all the time. But he did it so nice.
Yeah,
what?
Perfect straight face. He would come in and say, yeah, why don't you try having better taste? And then he would.
That's about it, yeah.
I'd be like, all right, and here's DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince.
I'd be like, whatever, dude, your hair's so much cooler than mine. I'm going to play whatever you say.
Well, and then, like, what was that? Who was the band that did Brimful of Esha?
Corner Shop.
Corner Shop,
right. He was like, hey, try this disc, see if you like it. And at that time, I was also reviewing CDs for the Northwind, which I had no business doing. Yeah, but so I played Brimful of Esha, or as I like to call it, Brimful of Esha, and I loved it. And so I just started playing it every show, and he's like, that's not what I mean.
Yeah.
So why weren't you qualified to write for the Northwind? I mean, is it because they were such a bastion of literary pieces, or were you just not good at it?
No, I've always felt like other people know more things than I do, and I'm just faking it real well. And so that was kind of my thing. I was like, I know this music. I know new music. And sometimes I didn't even listen to the CD. Just,
the truth comes out.
Like write 5 columns about it.
You're like every music reviewer out there. You were doing it perfectly. That's exactly what you're supposed to do.
I just look at the CD cover and come up with like 5 analogies and be like, much like the mist on the grass near the Grand Canyon, the precipice of eternity, this band and their bass player are incredible.
You may not know this, Bridgette, but you were college radioing perfectly by doing
Thanks,
that.
Thank you.
That's exactly what you're supposed to do. We were Matt and I were talking about that a couple episodes ago about writing the reviews on CDs.
Yeah.
And I remember when we ushered in the pandemic with our show last March.
Can you excuse me 1 second, Kevin? I'm sorry, I gave them rawhides so they would. Oh my God, Kevin!
If you were wondering out there in podcast land, her dog's name is Kevin. She's
they're dogs. That explains a lot.
That explains it.
Okay. I'm sorry. So you were talking about
we're talking about how we used to write reviews for CDs and used to stick them in the liner notes. Yeah. So when people would pull them out, they could see all of the ones that somebody either marked not suitable for airplay, which means you tried to sneak it in between midnight and 6 a.m.
Sure.
Or, these are the ones that you should play are good. Do you have, out of curiosity, do you have any of those that you remember writing that stick out in your mind? Because mine was the Bloodhound Gangs.
Oh, incidentally, the band I have seen most in my life is the Bloodhound.
Really?
Really?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's like 6 times. I really, really like them for a while. I know.
I have never seen them, and I think it would be fantastic to have seen them back in the day.
Yeah, it was a really great show. There was where was it? I want to say it was in Milwaukee, and we were up on the balcony. I know this has nothing to do with the question you asked me. And there was like plexiglass around the balcony, right? And so you could see through it. And there was a whole line of dudes who dropped trow and just like shoved their balls up against the plexiglass.
Wow.
So we're on the other side of it, and then like, look at all the balls. And then Jimmy Pop Ali was like, dude, look at all the balls. And so everyone was staring at these guys' balls, and they were like, woo! It was just a really interesting concert going experience.
Incredible.
I haven't. All right. So I don't know that I wrote any of the liner notes things. I don't think I was trusted to do that.
You did.
I was busy managing.
I did a lot of them, but I can't remember which ones. I remember writing a bunch because it was such a cool, it was a tiny little thrill to just be able to say, everyone who reads this CD is going to see my opinion and play possibly the songs I recommend. More than just, don't play this because it has a bad word in it. But if I said, oh, this track's really good, and then I would hear someone play that track, I'd be like, yeah, they took my advice.
Yeah, that band
nice,
Latex Generation, they should be very happy that I'm going to get their song. 3 spins.
Exactly.
The two that I remember the most are, one was the Bloodhound Gang's the Fierce Beer Coaster one, which I can't remember the whole title of the name album.
I think it was just Fierce Beer Coaster.
One Fierce Beer Coaster.
One Fierce
That's
Beer
what it was.
Coaster, yes.
And then the other one that I vividly remember writing was for a band you may have heard of them. They're called Incubus.
Oh.
And they sent their first album to our station, and I just tore it up. I'm like, this is terrible. This band will never make it. If you want to play any song, play this one, but it sucks, so whatever. And apparently that's why I'm doing podcasts, and they still tour the world.
That's funny though. Like I just I'm on the Twitter now, and Bridgette, you should get on the Twitter. I highly recommend it. But I just posted a thing about if there are any artists that when you first heard them, you were like, this is garbage, I hate this. And then as time passed, you gave it another listen and you were like, wow, this is really good. Like, can either of you guys think of any time that you heard something and you were like, this is ridiculous, and then later you're like, yeah, why did I miss this before?
Incubus, because I actually like some of their later stuff.
That was it. Yeah.
I don't know. I would say, so there was a singer from Canada named Hayden, and we got his CD, and JB hated it, and so I was like, I love it, and I hadn't even listened to it, and then I listened to it and I was like, oh my God, I hate this. Let's shoot. Yeah. And, but then it grew on me. And so and he had a song called, I want to say it was called Girl in My Dreams. And I played that a lot.
Hayden, Girl in My Dreams.
Yeah.
I'd probably remember if I heard it, but I'm writing it down.
It's
anyway.
one of those like slow, dark 90s douchebag songs,
Love it.
What I heard was it'd be right up your alley, Matt and Jace. It's slow, it's mushy, it's almost quiet stormy.
Yeah. So I
kind of, but the guy's got like this weird. He's got a rich Tom Waits with graham crackers voice. I don't know how else to describe it. Yeah, because he's not as Tom Waitsy as Tom Waits is, but he's still low and gravelly.
Tom Waits-esque.
Yeah, so Tom Waits-esque.
It happened to me twice with the Killers.
Okay.
And I love the Killers. They're one of my probably favorite bands. But when Somebody Told Me came out, I was like, well, this is just kind of like a goofy dance song. It was huge. Everyone liked it. And I was like, not interested. It seems very just not my bag, baby. And then as other songs from that album came out, I'd be like, well, actually, these guys are pretty cool. And I saw them. That's probably the band I've seen the most in concert. But since then, they have become one of my favorite bands. And then when they released, what album The Man was on? I can't remember what album The Man was on. But when The Man came out, you know that song by the Killers, yes. The Man?
I don't think I do.
I first heard it and I was like, oh, damn it, this is garbage. I'm not. They've become not my favorite band anymore. And then as I started listening to that song again, I was like, no, wait, this is a sweet jam. And now I'm a fan again. It's really weird. The Killers have a very unique thing happening where if you're not on board, they sound ridiculous. But then if you're on board, they're great.
See, another one of those bands for me that I did not like them when they first came out, and it's not even Radio X related, actually, is after that time, was Panic at the Disco. Didn't like them. Thought they were They were just kind of a weird, maybe pop punk, maybe alternative ripoff type band. They just didn't do it for me.
Right.
Then as the years went on and they kept releasing albums, I'm like, and then I went and saw them in concert. And Brendan Urie's one of the best frontmen I've ever seen, in rock. I was like, man, these guys are actually really good. And now I'm a big fan and listen to all their stuff. Yeah, which I know when you think 46-year-old man, you think big fan of Panic at the Disco.
Do you remember there was a super old Saturday Night Live skit that Mike Myers did? It was called Sprockets.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. Mm-hmm. So for some reason, every day in my head, whenever I do something, I'd be like, now is the time on Sprockets when we go to the bathroom. And I don't know why. But when I heard Panic at the Disco.
That's fantastic.
When I heard Panic at the Disco for the first time, I was like, oh, these guys are German. And now, I can't hear one of their songs without being like, these guys are German. Now is the time on Sprockets where we play Panic at the Disco.
Now is the time on Sprockets where we Panic at the Disco.
Oh, I wish the video was something we could share with the audience.
Yeah, but that's by design that we don't.
So Bridgette, we gave you some demands.
Yes.
I think that we asked you to come up with some songs that made you think of Radio X for your time there, other than the Grateful Dead. Did you come up with any specific songs that you wanted to share?
Well, here's the thing: is the songs that I would think of, I never hear anywhere else.
Yeah.
Excuse me, and I haven't heard since. But so basically, for me, it's more bands than it is songs. Mm-hmm. So anytime I hear Soul Coughing or of course Bumblebee Tuna, that's a perennial.
A lot of people mention that one.
Yep.
I still have to say I love that song.
I do too.
Everyone else has so far thought it was insane, but it's so fun.
I love that whole
past
CD.
The beginning, if you can get past the beginning, where it's kind of dark and weird, and then it goes doot doot doot, bum, 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 that's when it gets cool to me.
Because that's the Mephistopheles CD, right?
Yes,
Mephistopheles.
With the rooster on the cover.
Mm-hmm. And then Robot Party by Duncan, that big hit.
Oh,
I loved that song. I loved it.
I feel like it's been lost to the ages, even though we are on the lookout for it. We've even reached out to the creator and have not received anything.
Are you serious? There's no copies of Robot Party available?
It's got to exist somewhere.
It's got to exist somewhere. It's so great.
At one point, I had a digital copy of Peanut Butter and Jellyfish. I don't know where it is, but that was... I don't know if that was Duncan or if that was another incarnation, but do you guys remember when they did that song?
I don't remember that song.
Vaguely.
Peanut butter and jellyfish. Yeah, that was, I don't remember all the words. But anyway, but yeah, Robot Party, I would love to be able to play on the podcast. So,
I love Robot Party.
It's a good one.
What else? Hayden, that one came to mind, but I already talked about that. And then, gosh, I don't know, it's the Frogs, but you're never going to hear the Frogs anywhere else.
That's true.
For sure. And do you know how expensive that CD is? The last time I had to buy it, it was something like $85.
Oh my gosh.
What?
Yeah. And because it's so limited. And I paid for it and then somebody stole it again.
Oh.
I just can't keep that CD. Nobody wants me to have it.
What an odd CD to be expensive.
I know.
That's so weird. That is really weird.
Yeah, I think it's just mostly bands for me. I don't know. And my memory is kind of holy from back then.
So a song that reminds me of Bridgette is Brad. Do you remember when Brad...
Damn it, you stole that from me.
I love
Day
that
Brings.
Yes. Oh my God, I love that song.
Always makes me think of Bridgette. You did play it quite a lot, but then so did I. I don't know why.
It's such a good song.
It's a really good song. Yeah.
That totally reminds me of Bridgette, and it also reminds me, and my memory may be foggy on this one, but I remember when that CD came out, JB hated it.
Yep. If I liked it, he hated it. That's just how it was.
Yeah.
I think it was was a common thread, and so Bridgette was like, "I love this CD."
But the guy from Pearl Jam was in that band. Was in Brad.
Is that who it was? Because I was
Gossard?
like somebody from another band that I like was in that band. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Do you know what other song? the band, the song "Laid" by James.
Yes.
This bed is on fire.
This bed
with
is on
passion and
fire.
love. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard that a lot on Radio X. It never got old though. It's a good
No,
song.
and sometimes
I still
it
hear it.
pops up in a commercial now, and it makes me mad. I'm like, you don't get to have that.
No, that's
Yeah,
weird.
you know what? When you have that moment of you hear a song that we used to like pop up in a commercial, all I can think of is when I was a kid and "Like a Rock" by Bob Seger was in the Chevy commercials, and my parents are like, "That's not even cool."
He's gone commercial.
He's gone commercial, but you know,
I'm just curious what advertisement is selling something with "Laid" by James.
I think it was as AARP for Gen X. It's about comfort pillows, like positioning pillows and stuff.
So you used to do a segment on your shows called the 8th grade slow dance moment of the week.
Yes.
Do you remember doing that?
I do, and I tried to carry that with me to other stations, and it never took off.
They didn't want you to do it, or it just
I
was
still
not?
think it's a great idea. Like I really
see,
love
and this
that
is
idea.
why quote unquote regular radio sucks.
Yeah.
Because all of these things are great ideas, and not just us, but if you even listen to like some of the local stations I listen to, I can hear it in some of the morning show folks that they have these fantastic ideas, and you can just tell they're not allowed to flesh it out, and they're not allowed to do the thing that would really make it cool and really get the audience engaged with them, which blows my mind because that's what they're all after is audience engagement.
Right.
Audience engagement is not listening to a car commercial. It's linking up with the personality who's there.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
Agreed.
I had to get on my soapbox for a minute there.
No, you're absolutely
shake
right.
my cane
gave
at
you the
people.
idea for that, Bridget?
What gave me the
made you
idea for
decide
that?
Yeah.
This is a sad story.
Uh-oh.
So I went to.
We are gonna make you cry.
Yeah. I went to Big Bay School for a little while. I came out of Catholic school in 6th grade and went to 5th grade and went to Big Bay School, and there were 4 people in my class, and we were combined with the 6th grade, and there was like 12 people in the class.
Really?
And and we had dances every week because there was nothing else to do in Big Bay.
For 6 people?
Well, I mean, all
For
the
18.
classes.
It was 18 people,
Oh, okay.
Matt. Come on.
Okay.
And so I started off on a bad foot. I came in and I beat everybody in the spelling bee, like all the way through 8th grade.
Show off.
So nobody liked me. And there was a guy named Dennis Tull who started calling me bird shit jack off a lot. And that really caught on. And so I got called that all the time. And then there was another guy that I liked. He was older than I was. And I wrote about him in my diary, which I accidentally left on the bus. And the bus driver read it to everybody. Like, yeah.
No way.
I had a hard time in Big Bay.
No way.
Yes. So, but anyway, so what this came
bus
from.
driver.
Yeah. But I mean, everybody really enjoyed it. So, but anyway, so I never danced with anybody. There was one guy, I won't say his name, but he was also a fat kid, and he was real weird. And he was the only person who ever asked me to dance, and I always said no. And I always wanted the boy that I'd written the diary thing about to ask me to dance. He never did. So I think it just was born of trauma.
Most great art is.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
That's true.
So yeah, I just all those really emotional, overwrought songs from the 80s, I absolutely loved them. And I just thought that was fun.
So you and I don't know if you remember this, but we used to try to out-sap each other.
Yes, I mean, we did that for like 6 hours one night.
Yeah, we tried to come up with the saddest songs to try to out-sap the other person. I'm pretty sure you always won, but it was really fun.
Oh, I don't think so.
To dig deep to find those, because I love sad songs. Like those sad songs, love songs often do. They can.
And how enjoyable for our audience is 6 hours of just chronic Black depression.
I know, but it's good. It's good music. That's the thing. And
the reason I will always say that you won that is because of Butterfly by Weezer.
Oh, yeah. That is a really sad song.
That was your knockout punch, huh?
Yeah,
I hadn't heard it before, and he played it, and I was like, oh, well, you just win indefinitely. Like, that's the saddest song I've ever heard in my life.
It is. There is no, redeeming, it's not uplifting at the end. It's just really sad.
It's just all sad. Yep.
Yeah. It's just all sad. Yeah. But that was fun. And that's the thing. Like, when you get the opportunity to have a show that you just say, well, we're just going to try to play sad songs to each other to see who breaks or whatever. Like, you can't do that on commercial radio.
You never could.
No, but it was fun.
It was
super fun.
So then I think you could do that on commercial radio. They just don't have the guts to try it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
I mean,
they could.
Commercial radio is flailing so bad right now. I think they should try it.
Yeah. Yeah, or maybe that's a place for like satellite radio. There could be a whole channel. There probably is a whole channel of sad songs.
Oh, I'm sure there is.
Don't you think?
Yeah. It's probably just called Sad Songs XM.
They're probably legally required to change it every once in a while so that people don't get too depressed, but I'm sure that it exists.
Welcome to Emo XM, I guess, if you want to.
Our program director has required that we play Walking on Sunshine for the next few minutes, just in case anyone's troubled and has been listening for too long. We'll get back to the sad songs after this.
Now for a 7 songs by This Mortal Coil. Enjoy.
So then when did you start All Request Saturday Night? Was that something that was thrust upon you, or was that something that you had an idea to do? I remember that you started it. There wasn't anyone that did it before you, was there? Or...
No. I thought...
So what made you decide to do that?
I thought you and I did that.
But you started it just before me, and then I joined up with you, because it was your thing, and then I just leached onto you. This is the way I remember it, anyway.
And then we leached onto Matt. And then...
Yeah.
How did that come to be? I want to say I was probably fighting Spike for the time. Or something like that. Like, no, we're not going to do Man Bid Saturday Night.
It's not happening. This is All Request Saturday Night, and I will stay here for 6 hours just so you can't.
But it was popular. It was.
That was a time, and one of my favorite things about when we were in school or when we did Radio X at that time was it was a sense of community.
Yeah.
Like I have not experienced in anything else in my life. I mean, there's some community theater that's kind of like that, but nothing to the extent where, we all wanted to hang out together and we would hang out in the office and and do all that stuff. Like that's never happened to me before or since.
Yeah, no, that's true. And during the day, you could go through. Your dogs have an opinion about this too. During the day, you could stop in at that station and there would be any number of people hanging out. And when we would do All Request Saturday Night, sometimes people would just hang out in the office and be there and hang out with us because we were there and because we were playing good music and because there was a lot of energy about, everyone was partying and calling in to play songs for their parties and things like that. And it was just that station had a lot of buzz about the people that were there and the music that was going on and things like that. And that is the part that I think is kind of depressing now, that even when someone does have some good music to play, they're in there by themselves or they have just pre-programmed a computer and there's nobody in there. And that door of the studio is often just locked all day long.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And that part is really sad because like I went up, a couple years ago, I went up and brought my son and I was like, I'm going to show you where where I used to be on the radio. And we couldn't even get in. So I was like, look through the window. But it used to be really cool. There used to be a place to hang out. Now it's...
Well, and when you guys were there, it like everything even faces the other way. Like you just face a wall.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was very different. It was cool, but it was very different. It's almost designed now to be isolated and not like open for people to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, too, back when we were doing it, there was still an aura of somebody who could crack a mic on a radio station. Like you had you had guts to do it, for lack of a better term. Like right now, everybody and anybody can, get on YouTube and say whatever they want or
start a podcast,
maybe. But when we were doing this, you had to do something different to actually go in, sit down in front of other people most of the time.
Yeah.
and start talking.
Right.
Like you just do it all the time and pick music and actually talk to somebody. There's nobody in front of you most of the time, but you're talking to them. And now I think that whole idea, because there's so many outlets to do something like that, the aura of doing that is gone.
Right.
People don't think of it what they used to think of it.
It's just like in the year 2525, man.
Yeah, I still haven't listened to that, by the way.
Come on. Bridgette, you know that song.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
We talked about it. The podcast isn't out yet, but we talked about that song last episode. We did another series of songs that don't make sense. And so I was talking about Zager and Evans because that song is a catchy little ditty. But if you actually listen to the lyrics, it's like horrible.
It's really dumb.
And Jace doesn't know the song.
I'm sure I've heard it.
You've heard it.
I worked at Fox 103. I'm sure I heard it.
Then you definitely
and you heard it at least twice a day.
Yeah. Well, and outside of, I mean, this is kind of skipping around here in the stuff, but earlier when I was talking about you're one of the people who trained us to do what we're doing. You're also one of the people that got, I don't know about Matt, but you led to me getting some of my first quote unquote real radio jobs.
Oh, absolutely.
Working for
sure.
WHCH in Munising. Remember that?
Yep.
Fun place.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that
WQXO?
today. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh my gosh. Munising Mustangs football.
Yes.
It was the most happening thing on WQXO.
Yeah,
do you remember
definitely.
Vaughn Zimmerman?
Yes.
I totally remember her.
She
was a character.
I had a patient who was related to her or something like that, and I don't know how she came up in conversation, but she was something else. Like, she was a grizzled old radio lady for sure. And she nailed her AM show every day. That was really something.
It was.
I
remember working
for sure
there.
that Bridgette definitely gave me my first commercial radio job, for sure.
Where was it?
It was. You asked me if I wanted to do a voice on some commercial you were working on at the studios on Front Street. And we went down and we recorded it on reel to reel. I know. And I don't remember the commercial, but I was like, holy shit, I'm on a real radio commercial. This is the coolest thing that's ever happened. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, babies.
And that was like the first thing I did for actual commercial radio. And then I became a board op there not too long after that. But yeah, that was definitely where I started actually doing real stuff.
Was that at Fox? I'm pretty sure that was at Fox.
I think that was Fox, yeah.
Yeah. In that studio. And that was and then when I was a board op there, I remember being so tired all the time and so close to falling asleep because you really just were watching carts and hoping they got sucked into the machine when the satellite wanted them to, that I would run circles through that office complex to stay awake. So I would run down one hall and around the corner and come back through, just jogging so that I didn't fall asleep while I was terrified that I was going to fall asleep.
I just remember that was a super weird studio. Like the whole
really
complex that was in was just, it was such a weird setup. It was like on a second floor and it was like 70s paneling and it
carpet.
Was just, yes. Because I remember going there to hang out with both of you, sometimes at the same time, because we'd just be if we weren't at one radio station, we were at a different radio station.
Yeah.
And going there. Did either one of you? I know this isn't Radio X related. And I know we both did time at WHCH in Munising, which home Tigers baseball and Munising Mustangs football on the AM station. Do you remember if anything happened during that football game on a Friday night? Like if there was a glitch in the system somewhere. I never seen those phones ring so much.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's true.
I was like, you guys don't call about anything, but the moment we get an interruption in Munising Mustangs football, the phones light up.
Hell breaks loose.
Yeah,
yes,
that's true. So that was the funny thing about working at that station and that station group was that sometimes you were in Marquette and sometimes you were way out in Munising, and just, again, it was satellite. So for the most part, you were just like sitting and waiting for either your quick moment to talk, or you weren't talking at all, or you pre-recorded like the weather on a cart and you were playing it whenever the weather would trigger. It was a weird, and that's something that like we haven't really talked about, is that the satellite radio, not satellite radio that people know of now, but like radio that comes from a satellite that you're not doing locally is still a big part of commercial radio. Like a lot of the stations that people listen to, none of the stuff is happening locally. It's just someone making sure that all the commercials fire at the right time, and then the rest of the content comes from somewhere far, far away.
Yeah, there's I don't know if many people know about this, probably not, but if you're listening in a rural area and it's a rural station, a lot of times those are like networks that people might be familiar with, like Westwood One. Mm-hmm. They would have different formats. Here's their rock format, their oldies format, their sports format. And they would send all of the content down, and you would do local fills, which were exactly that. You'd have 2 to 5 minutes to jam the weather, local commercials, and then a rejoin back to the satellite content. And they had it set up with tones and everything so you could give it the illusion that it was local. But so many of them still, if they're not completely satellite fed, the content is satellite fed, and then the locals are just pre-recorded and dropped in. There's nobody there.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
So it's not even songs now. It's just the feed. Like it's not a series of songs that line up together. It's just, here's the satellite feed. And then every once in a while, a local thing will be sucked into a old DAT, or not DAT, what do you call those things?
The cart deck?
Cart deck. Thank you.
Those are long gone, by the way.
The 8-track player, and it would basically suck it in, play 30 seconds of local, and then you would just rejoin the satellite as if it was really happening. But songs, like timed out songs, was done by somebody else, and you just had, is it satellite feed or is it the little bit of commercials? And that was, I don't know. I think that the nice thing about that is it does teach you timing and staying on a clock and stuff like that, but it's a different thing that we haven't actually discussed when we talk about radio, is the whole concept of satellite.
Yeah, we could probably do a whole program on just the different networks. Premier Network, Westwood One Network, Satcom. No, there was another that started with Sat, but anyways, that's not important. But all of the different, it kind of goes along with our radio shows program where we were talking about like All Request Saturday Night. Mm-hmm. You know who, just to take another little bit of a side, because I know all three of us were fans of this person. One radio show we didn't talk about during our radio shows podcast was Dr. Demento.
Oh, I love Dr. Demento.
That's
which
true. Always
reminds me of Fox 103.
Yeah. That's true. We didn't talk about Dr. Demento when we were, that's interesting. Yeah, that's and we did get a lot of stuff from Dr. Demento for Radio X too. I mean, there are songs that are ridiculous. I don't know that you'd always even call them songs, that I still try to find for the kids to play because they cracked me up when I was working there at Radio X. And most of those, many of them came from the Dr. Demento program originally.
Yeah, wasn't Roly Poly Fish Heads was one of the big...
Yes, yeah.
The Dead Alewives.
Dead Alewives.
And that was a good one.
I still play that for people when I'll be like, hey, have you ever heard of Dungeons & Dragons? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, no, but have you? Here, listen to this.
That's such a good one. And Bulbous Bouffant. I play that
for
my
love
boys
Bulbous
all the time.
Bouffant. Yeah.
It's timeless. My kids still laugh at that. When they were little kids, they thought it was hilarious.
I still laugh at that.
Yeah, they're teenagers now. They still think it's funny.
My first introduction to Dr. Demento was I was living in Illinois my sophomore year in high school, and it was a cicada cycle. And the reason I know that is because he played a song called Cicada Lover, which is a really stupid song, but it's always stuck in my head. And so I think there's been 2 sets of 17 years since then. And so every time it comes up, I'm like, why is no one playing Cicada Lover?
Seriously. I haven't heard that song. And we just had the cicadas attack us just a few months ago, wasn't it? Or like last month,
yeah. But so then I was like, wow, that's 34 years then. That's 2 times 17. So yeah.
That's a really creepy thought, the whole cicada thing. I don't like that.
And they're
Any
gross.
sorts of creature is just buried in the ground waiting to rise again and destroy the world.
And why
they're like
17
the insect
years?
zombies.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
Hey, Dr. Demento's still alive, just so you know.
Really?
Yeah.
His show's out of syndication now, though. I think it came out of syndication in the mid 2000s.
Okay.
Huh. All right. So, Bridgette, do you have any stories of craziness that happened? Now, you have the opportunity to share either college radio stories or commercial radio stories because
if you
both.
don't, I have definite questions to remind you of something.
So
I've got some. I don't know. When you mentioned that you wanted some X memories, Laser Day was one of my favorites. That sticks out in my memory.
See, you remember Laser Day. Matt
Yes.
did not remember Laser Day.
How can you not remember Laser Day? It was hilarious and awesome.
it
Yes,
sounds
it was
awesome.
fantastic.
I
I
just
still
can't
talk about
remember.
Laser Day in my office in my current job. I do.
So did you guys talk about what Laser Day was?
A little.
I
but
did. Yes.
Okay. So I, for some reason, had foil thread, like a really big spool of foil thread, and I don't know where it came from. It's soft, but it was like a big piece of tinsel, like a really good tinsel. And
thank God I wasn't just high or something. I
No,
totally had
no.
this right.
And I don't know what came. We were having like a boring day or whatever, and we just started unspooling this foil
All over the office.
And I want to say it was Chuck came in to the door, and he was like, "What's happening?" We're like, "Laser Day," and nobody could get in. It was really
And Chuck was so awesome. He just went.
yeah.
And we went about our normal day. I just remember walking up to the door, and it's like, all right, can't touch the laser. So you're like trying to limbo through the office to get to what you needed to do. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
And Matt doesn't remember it.
I wish I remembered. But I forget ridiculous things that I should remember. So that's just probably my brain.
We should call
I
this
do too.
part. We should call this part "Stories from the Couch." Only our generation would know what the hell that means.
Right.
That disgusting couch.
I was so mad when we went in and there was no couch. I was like, man, there should at least be a picture of the couch.
Right.
It probably sprouted legs and crawled off on its own, though. It's
It
probably
was like,
not
fuck
their
this,
fault.
I'm out of here.
So can
I've
I
seen
tell
too
you
much.
this is the most conceited thing I could possibly say, but I
love
don't
it.
mean it to be conceited. Okay.
Okay.
So when I graduated, Chuck was always so good to me. I don't know if you guys recall, he started the Bridgette Jockala Outstanding Contribution Award.
I do remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
there was
remember
this huge plaque with my name on it, and like I was the first recipient of it, and it is the most proud. It is the thing I am most proud of in my entire life that happened. But I'm gonna start. I'm literally gonna cry now. Anyway, so
This is the part where we went into Emmy, Matt.
So I was so moved and so excited about it, and I want to say there was something like 12 slots on it or something like that, so I'm like, wow, they're gonna have this award for 12 years. The last time I went to Radio X, when their staff was there, I walked in and they're like, can I help you? And I'm like, I'm Bridgette Jockala. Such an asshole. Like, who does that, right? But I was like, I'm Bridgette
You may have
Jockala.
heard of me.
They're like, and I'm like, that's it. I just
Never mind.
yeah, and they don't have it up, and I don't know what happened to it. And I would
Oh.
I would like to have it, you know what I mean, if they're not going to be showing it off or whatever. But I also don't want to call and do that again and be like,
Right.
hi, I'm Bridgette Jockala. I'm
I'm the
looking
plaque
for
lady."
my award plaque.
you may have heard of my plaque.
Right?
Wow. That's
Yeah.
a bummer that they don't have that up.
Yeah. I mean, but maybe they have it like in the CD room or something like that. It's not a big deal. Maybe they don't do it anymore, but yeah. It didn't
Bridgette,
come
it's
with
a
any
huge deal.
prize. It
Well-
was just your name on a little piece of metal. But
It's a huge deal. We
That
will
was a
make
huge deal
this.
for me.
It will be my life's work
Oh,
to
thanks.
find an answer to this.
Well,
But as far
I
as
also
memories,
noticed,
oh, go ahead.
I also noticed when we were in there, though, that the ceiling tiles are starting to not be written on anymore.
Yeah,
And
that's
that started when we were there.
I know. I almost
And
asked
those
for
were
my
awesome.
ceiling tile.
Yeah, I would love to have them, and you could preserve them. And They wouldn't mean a lot to many people, but they mean a lot to a few of us.
They would make good sound baffling in my studio.
They
we should start a little museum.
They would go with my my Bavaria in the background.
They
here.
would.
It would look great, right next to Darth Vader.
Little Bavaria.
So you guys came a little bit after I did. Were you there for South Park when we did South Park?
Yep.
Okay, because we didn't. You couldn't get it. You couldn't get it here. Nobody had seen South Park, except I want to say it was Empire had bootleg copies on VHS.
That who had it?
I think it was him, and so he brought him up.
Checks out.
And we had movie night, so we had full access to all the AV equipment as a student organization, and so we just one night everybody came and brought blankets and stuff, and we watched all these bootleg South Park episodes, and we felt like we were the shit because no one else had seen it.
Do you remember? Because actually, if I remember the story correctly, I was on air when you guys were watching, so that's how I got to participate. No, I would play a song and then I would come out and watch, and then I'd go back into a thing and come out and watch. But
so
I also
night
remember
was also Thrash and Trash Tuesday.
No, I was on more than Thrash and Trash Tuesday. Come on, man. I'm a metalhead, but I'm a diverse metalhead. I like other things. Oh, yes, but I also remember the movie nights where we watched Jerry Springer's Too Hot for TV.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And do you guys ever remember the ever classic hit of A Clockwork Orgy?
Yes.
I
definitely remember that.
I do. Yep. There were some adult content nights also.
And I won't go into the details, but I remember
go into the details, Jace.
Well, I don't want to use the person's name.
Okay.
Because we don't really have their permission, and they might actually come on the show with us one day, so I don't want to scare them away.
Yeah.
But a certain DJ's girlfriend, who was also a DJ there, got mad. Well, a fun way mad, not like I really needed to see this. I'm upset about this situation, but was mad in a joking way because there was no money shots in that.
No. That's a crazy thing to remember.
Dude, I don't know why I remember this. And then, because it was a very artsy adult film. And then people were like, oh, because, they're expecting gonzo, normal college grotesque pornography, I suppose. But it was artsy and it was shot on film and it was classy, dare I say, for an adult film.
Are we going to have to leave a link to A Clockwork Orgy for people to check it out?
I vaguely remember Bridgette being like, I tried to class this up and all you guys wanted. That's at least my memory of the whole thing.
Practically an art film.
Oh, that's funny.
I can't wait for my daughter to ask me about this part.
Did we also watch like Edward Penis Hands and all those other parody? Okay, all right.
I think I remember that one, but then we also watched Howard Stern, Private Parts.
Okay.
There were some less racy movies, but that was fun. That was always a good time. And I guarantee that they don't do that now. Get together and watch.
You couldn't, though, could you? I mean, really?
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Aside from
we should not have done that.
Aside from the porn aspect, the movie aspect is what I was pointing out.
Yeah, we're talking about the gathering of people getting together and enjoying each other's company, not sitting there watching pornography in a radio station, even though I'm fairly certain we're not the first to do it.
No.
Probably.
For sure.
Yeah, so we may have been the last, but we definitely weren't the first. So, Bridgette, I have it's one of those stories in my head, and I hope I have it right. And I don't remember if we asked Jim about it, because you and Stone Cold were managers at the same time for a period of time. Mm-hmm. Do you remember the overnight where the Nazis locked the door and went on a rant on air, and you guys had to call the cops and get into the station? Or was I totally drunk and making this up?
Wait, Nazis took over the studio.
Nazis?
That's what you're saying?
Well, they were people who were, like how Bridgette referred to it earlier, tertiary DJs at the station. Okay. And it was like an overnight, midnight to 3. And they locked the doors and did a big old racist dickhead rant.
Yikes.
So I think that was the night of the party at my grandma's house. And the event which shall not be mentioned.
It might have been mentioned already.
This is yes.
The event which shall not be mentioned was happening when the Nazis took over.
Yes.
And Yep. And did I have a pager? I think I had a pager, and like everybody was just shit-faced on my grandma's table. And then she was out of town, and her lamp had broken, and so I was already pissed off.
Oh, no.
And then I think I had to use her phone like her house phone, to try and get the police over there. And I had to go over there, and I was drunk and had to meet the police.
Yep.
And and we did. We had to break in to get them off the air, and it was.
Oh my gosh.
And I think they had the mics on while I was screaming at them. So.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. Because if I also remember correctly, and I think I have this right, but it was also the same night that they announced on MTV that the lead singer of Judas Priest was gay. He came out of the closet.
Oh wow.
Huh.
That's
They're
I don't
odd
know
things
why.
to all associate together.
Yeah, I don't know how that all ties together in my head, but it does.
Huh.
Wow. It's Rob Halford. That's his name, right?
Yes, Rob
Yeah.
Halford.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the event which shall not be named.
I'm
Nazis
pretty
taking over the studio, and Rob Halford is gay. That's a big night.
That kind of, that kind of sums up our whole career in college radio. Kind of does. Like, you never knew what was going to happen. That was one of the most awesome things about that place. And it was a group of people. Matt and I have said this before, but we'll say it again. It was a group of people that if you met individually, you would never think that they would get along as well as they did as a collective group.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. Yeah.
And we did. And I remember even when I first started there, I was like, I'll never fit in here. I will never fit in. And I even remember when Kent called me a meathead jock.
Oh,
He said it in a very kind way, though.
Yeah.
He's like, Jace, you're not just the meathead jock I thought you were. And I was like, thanks.
oh, thanks.
He also had a nice way to insult you too. He
Yeah,
was good
but-
at that. He
But
always,
if you knew Kent, that was actually a nice thing for him to say to you.
Yes.
Right.
He was making a connection.
yeah, he coined a type of music, proof rock, because he didn't like it. So he would say, "Oh, this is something you might like. This is like a proof rock kind of thing." And I'd be like, "I feel like you're insulting me, but thank you for knowing who I am."
He was the first person to kind of teach me what emo and screamo was, because I remember having a very visual argument in the office between him and Sluice, and I want to say you were there too, Matt, about bands that were emo, and Sluice was just poking the bear and getting them going, and Kent was not having it.
Do you guys? So
Also-
if I were to say to you, Walt, you have to put deodorant on if you're going to do that. Do you know what that refers to?
I don't think I do, but there's another saying you had that I'm going to say in a minute that you'll totally get.
Okay.
I don't.
tell us.
I don't think I get that one.
Yeah, tell us the Walt thing.
Wasn't his name Walt? I'm sure his name was Walt. He was.
Oh, Walt, the DJ from New York.
Was he from New York?
Yeah, he had the big.
Yes,
custom ring.
yes, yeah. And he
Oh,
always
that
came
Walt.
in.
Got it.
He always came in wearing like a 1992 Color Me Bad windbreaker, and he had a huge Tupperware full of weed in his hoodie
my
pocket,
gosh.
like all the time, just all this weed.
His
the thing
parties
is-
were badass, by the way.
Yes, he was an intimidating fella.
Yes,
And
he
Yeah,
he used
I
to
remember
do-
him now.
He used to do an RPM show, and he would come in and he would just jump and jump and jump and jump and jump and jump. And then now I understand like what was going on, but at the time I was like, man, that guy likes to jump. And so
See, when
he would come
when
in
you
and do
pointed
these
out
shows.
it was that Walt. Now I don't remember the situation, but I do know why you said what you said.
Yeah, my dude was stinky. He was so stinky, and when
was.
he would come in and jump for hours, like he got really sweaty, and so when you would open, then you'd have to open the door and be like, "Damn, Walt!" And like everyone was
Yes.
like, "Bridgette, you have to try and get Walt to wear deodorant," and I'm like, "That's not my job," and they're like, "It is your job." And so there was one day where I just went in and I just screamed at him like, "Walt, you have to put on deodorant if you're going to do this." It was so smelly.
He was getting his cardio in.
He was, and he was a super nice guy, and like
Oh yeah,
just
very cool.
he was great. But with the jumping and oh my god, and I was intimidated because, can you guys hear that? I'm sorry, I'm not trying to
No.
make my computer make noise. So oh God, it's so awkward to talk about. I did not meet any African American people until I went to college, and
wow.
I had a friend named
Hold
Liz.
on a second. Hold on. You lived in Big Bay and you didn't meet any African American people? Get right out of town.
So
I don't believe you.
The family I come from, my grandma, bless her heart, was always like, Bridgette, there aren't any of those people here because they come from Africa and it's too cold for them here. So that's the family I came from.
She was set in her ways.
Yes, she was. And she meant it politely, but it was so racist. But anyway, so Walt scared me because he knew that about me and he thought it was funny to try and intimidate me, and he had that big nose ring and that smell, and I knew he was carrying weed, and so I always was just like, I can't confront him about anything, and then I just did, and he laughed for 20 minutes. Yeah.
I just remember he was one of the first people that I really knew that was into that type of music, RPM, or what we like to affectionately call video game music at the time. Yep. And him and then Bromer.
Yes.
Of the Bromers. You know him?
Yep. Mm-hmm. They might be Bromers.
They might be
the Red Hot Chili Bromers.
Bromer Jam.
Foo Bromers.
Better than Bromer.
Bromer coughing.
I don't know why I find it so
just
funny.
Nobody
so
else
funny,
gets
though.
this besides 10 people, and it's the funniest thing.
I mean, I could just listen to you guys say those all day long and just laugh.
So I remember I have many, many memories of working at this station, and a vast majority of them include you, Bridgette, because we were there all the time.
All the time.
I just remember doing Radio X News, the show, Matt and I, and we were trying to do this part where we would have user mail because everybody else seemed to get prison mail, except for I never did. I guess I wasn't sexy enough to the prisoners or something like that. But so you would write Matt and I fake mail and just hand it to us through the door.
Yeah.
And we would read it sight unseen.
Oh, no.
And I remember reading some suitable for air, but terribly vulgar.
Yes. I do remember that. We weren't allowed to read it until we went on air.
Yep. You're like, you can't read this until you go on air. And then you got to the point where you would just hand it into the studio while we were on air. And then we would have no choice but to to rip
fun.
and read.
That was fun. Yeah.
That's
and you
really
would do that when we were.
Oh, it was hilarious. It was
She did that when we were the Doctors of Love, too.
That was especially when we were the Doctors of Love. I just remember I learned some things I had to look up on the internet because we did have the internet then.
That's right. That's right. The terminology we didn't understand.
I fancied myself a semi-worldly person, and I was like, I'm not sure what that means. I better look it up. Oh,
Can I tell you my fairly long but very interesting prison mail story?
Yeah.
I was hoping so.
Okay. And you know what? I meant to dig them out of the basement because I kept all of them. So for those who don't know, we used to get very elaborately decorated mail from the prison. And I mean, when I say elaborately decorated, that's really an understatement because they were fantastic. And some of them were weird. Kevin. Anyway, so there was a guy named Chance who wrote to many of us, me and Mike Porter. And I can't believe you didn't get any mail from him, Jace. He would have loved you.
I know he would have loved me, but he didn't send me any mail.
So he was, according to his letters, he was a neo-Nazi, and he was in for check fraud. I think it was check fraud. Because when you think neo-Nazi, you think check fraud.
Exactly.
But he sent us all kinds of pamphlets, like there were pamphlet after pamphlet about, the master race. It was just awful. So I had mass comm law at the time with Louise, and I decided to do a paper on him, and essentially the pervasiveness of racism in prisons. I don't know. It had something to do with mass comm law. I don't remember exactly. So I wrote him back, and I was like, "Hey, I want to do a paper on you. Can you tell me how you got into this kind of line of thought?" And blah blah blah. And it was respectful and journalistic, although obviously I thought he was
psycho.
Yeah. And so he wrote me back and he's like, listen, I'll help you with this, but it's not actually true. We have to do this in prison to stay safe. I'm actually gay. And I was like, what? And
Wow.
so he started telling me about him being gay and sent me pictures of some boys that he liked from magazines. It was very, very odd. Yeah, so we kept this up for a really long time.
This is the weirdest neo-Nazi story I've ever heard.
Oh, it gets way weirder. It gets way weirder. So he was then transferred to Munising, and I didn't hear anything from him. I didn't know he was transferred to Munising. I just stopped getting letters from him. So then when I went to work at Q107, he started sending me letters again, but the guy who ran Q107 wouldn't give them to me.
Really?
Yeah, he also wouldn't pay for birth control for us on our insurance, so we're talking pretty... Like, now you'd call him a Fox Newser, but so he wouldn't give me this prison mail because he didn't think it was appropriate for a lady to have. But then Jim Koski, good guy Jim Koski, found the letters and gave them to me.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah. So, anyway, I was like, oh, my God, I didn't know you were Munising, blah, blah, blah. So I wrote him back, and then he's like, I have a parole hearing coming up. Can you come and testify for me? I was like... What? Like, I don't know you. And he's like, you're the only person who knows me at all. So if you could come to Munising and do this, that would be great. And I was like, you know me. I was like, hells yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah. Adventure.
So, right. So that was when
nothing
it was
could go wrong here.
Right. Well, wait. So that's when it was still Algermax. So I went there. I was nervous as could be. And they like put a black light stamp on my hand and all this stuff. And I had to get strip searched and just all kinds of things. Excuse me. And I'm not allowed to look at him, and I'm not allowed to touch him. And I want to be like, what makes you think I want to? Right. But anyway, so I go in, I sit in this room in front of the parole board, and they bring him in, and he sits very close to me. Now, I have never seen him before.
That's what I was going to say. This is the first time you've actually seen him.
Yeah, so all I get a sense of is like this blue jumpsuit with an orange stripe that is very tall, right? Yeah. And so they're like, well, Miss Jockula, thank you for coming. What can you tell us? And I was like, he's gay. And, and he's not really a Nazi. And, I think he's served his time. And he writes me really nice letters. Like, I don't know what to say. And so then they're like, okay, thank you for coming. And then real quick, he shot his hand out. Like, I was to his right. He shot his right hand out. And I was like, oh, and I shot my left hand out and we touched pinkies. And I was like, woo, yes. The forbidden dance.
And he gave you a shiv.
No, there was no shiv. So anyway, his parole was clearly denied. And then years later, he was transferred back to Marquette. And I was working in Escanaba at the time. And he started sending me letters again. And he was like, I'm getting out. And I was like, wow. He's like, do you think you could take me to Chicago? And I was like,
dear God.
Yep. So
yeah, I can.
So sure, why not? So he sent me like his clothing sizes. So I bought him a couple shirts and some pants and some boots. So he didn't have to.
This is incredible.
Right? So because he'd been in prison for a long time. So I went to the Marquette branch prison and picked him up when he was released. I was going to say discharged, but that's not right. When he was released. And it was so weird. Now, I was not scared because I knew he was gay. And he didn't really have any reason to hurt me.
Right.
And, that wasn't his history of like why he was in prison.
At least not until you get to Chicago.
Right. So I brought him back to my apartment in Escanaba, and he changed clothes and took a shower, and then we went to a party. And so this is his first house party as an adult. He'd been in jail for something like 15 years. He drank an entire bottle of 99 bananas, threw up over the guy's porch.
Oh, my Lord.
And everyone's like, who's this dude who's puking 99 bananas off the porch? And I'm like, oh, it's my prison friend. Don't worry about him. He's gay.
That's an interesting sentence you just said.
Right.
He just got out of jail today. He's cool.
Yeah, he's been in prison for 15 years. He doesn't know about these bananas. And
don't worry, it's check fraud. Just don't take any money from him. You'll be fine.
Exactly. So he slept on the couch at my apartment. My roommates were so mad. And right. So then the next morning we got up. He went and got his hair highlighted. And I have pictures of all this. And then we drove to Chicago. And do you know, I don't know if you guys know this because you're not from here, but when you go from Marinette to Menominee, there's that big horse there, and then the logs that says like "Welcome to."
Yes, I've seen. I know what you're
Marinette.
talking about.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So he's like, pull over. And I did. And I have a picture of him filleting that horse.
Oh my God. What in the actual...
That's so great.
Yeah.
There's
then,
nothing
especially
about
for
this
the
story
horse.
that's normal.
Especially for the horse.
Right? So then I dropped him off in Chicago. I got my own hotel room in Milwaukee for the night and came back home. And then I didn't hear from him. He never paid me for the clothes or anything like that. And I actually thought he probably would. And then he is now back in... He is now back in prison, but here's what it's for kidnapping, rape, and unlawful imprisonment and torture.
Oh,
so yeah, not the smartest decision I ever did. Right. So I don't know. I just I was pretty blessed when I was a kid. All the dumb stuff I did. Yeah.
So now that he's back in prison, is he writing to you?
He is not. But, I thought about it, and I was like, no, he still owes me for those pants, so I'm not going to,
Oh, my God.
You should should find where he's at, send him a letter, and say, this is what you get for not paying me back for that clothes.
Right. That's why.
It's the revenge of that horse.
Not all the crimes you committed. It's...
Yeah, not all the crimes. It's like that part in the movie Better Off Dead. Where's my $2?
Exactly.
$2.
$2.
Wow. That's an incredible story.
See, I remember that story, but I don't remember all of that story. I think you told it to us in one of the online forums we've been friends on throughout the years, on and off. But I remember hearing parts of that story, but not the whole story. The whole story is definitely much better.
Thank you.
Yeah, I was always bummed that I never got prison mail. I mean, it sounds like such a dumb thing to be bummed about, but I'm like, hold on a second. Everybody else on Thrash and Trash Tuesday gets some Nazi prison mail. Yeah. I didn't get shit.
I can't believe you didn't. It literally stuns me. Everybody got it.
I know.
I didn't get it.
I'm sorry. I'll cut some of the art off my old ones and I'll send it to you so that
they weren't really ornate. I do remember when you got they were decorated, all like the envelopes were usually decorated and the paper had like all this artwork on it and stuff.
The ones I remember the most are the ones that Fat Mike got.
Yeah, he got, people loved him. And like whenever I would talk to this guy, he would ask me about Mike all the time. I don't know if he was like interested.
And now it's clear why.
Yep. Now it makes sense.
Fat Mike is the reason that I got into the group Tad.
Oh, really?
Tad.
Yeah. Yep. Go look them up. They're kind of part of that Seattle scene, but they never got really popular.
I remember Tad.
They were featured in do you remember there was that documentary and we had the CD, the soundtrack for it at the X. It was like from the muddy banks of I think that was it. Or was that the Nirvana live album?
That's a Nirvana album.
Yeah, I got the wrong one. But
I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, there was a soundtrack to whatever the Seattle grunge documentary was at the time, and they were on it. Those guys in what was it doesn't matter, I suppose. It's another group that opened up for White Zombie and the Ramones, and I can't remember their name.
I'm writing it down too.
I'm totally all over the place with this one.
So you guys just write stuff down? You don't just look it up on your phone while you're talking about it?
No.
Wow, that is
dedication. No, because here's why I don't. Because
you got Amy's paper. Okay.
I have Amy's paper.
I'm too worried that if I'm on the internet, it's going to slow down the signal, like the internet connection. So plus I like to.
Do you live in 1998?
I do. I do. My dial-up couldn't handle it
first.
My net zero account is maxed out when we are streaming, so I don't want to use the internet.
See, if I used my phone, all you guys would hear about is I have to take a child to a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. Mm-hmm. And, oh, wow, here's an interesting text that came through while we're talking. Carl Levin passed away.
No!
Really?
So there, you heard it here first on X Radio X.
Well,
Probably
it'll be like 6 weeks later by the time
Yeah, by the time this comes out, it won't be first. But yeah, that's literally what's on my phone right now. I'm looking right at it.
Bummer.
Okay, not to jump back, but was this documentary called Hype?
Yeah. Hype with an exclamation point.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. Is Hype with an exclamation.
Now I have to look it up on the internet.
I think.
Well, I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it right now.
I remember that, but I don't remember Tad.
Okay. Well, it just says soundtrack, but then it doesn't say like who's on the soundtrack. This is multiple links. Oh yeah, I remember this. Okay. This is riveting
I
audio.
know, seriously. Let me know when you guys are done playing Words with Friends. We can get back to
Yeah, this is the soundtrack I was thinking of. It's the kid with the two
Nose plugs and some hair things.
earplugs jammed up his nose because
Sure.
his nose is bleeding. Surviving the Northwest rock explosion. Hype.
featuring Tad
Well, it wasn't just them.
with special guest Tad.
There you go. That's much better.
Is it just TAD?
Yeah.
Yep. Like Tab the soda, but with a D.
Or like Tag, but with a D.
Yes.
Okay. Or like Tap.
Sure, but with a D.
But with a D. That's the difference.
Or the jaunty word for a hat, tam,
Only with a D.
but with a D.
Okay, now I get
Yeah,
it.
they like the D.
You know, it's like the word run, but spelled T-A-D.
Oh. Thank you.
So now that's completely cleared up for everybody.
Now it's clear. Okay.
That's
now
funny.
I just know how to write it on my piece of paper. It's like run.
Yes, exactly.
TAD. Got it. Excellent.
And Bridget, I'm so glad you brought up the night. Well, I guess I kind of brought it up, but you fleshed it out because I forgot it was the night of the Nazis in the station. But I forgot that it was tied to the night of the party at your grandma's.
Yes.
And the thing that shall not be spoken about.
I don't know why we shall not speak about it. I feel like we spoke about it.
You both specifically told me to not
Yes.
speak about
Oh,
it.
okay.
We're not speaking about it. Nobody
All right.
knows what we're talking about except the people, but they
Got it.
still don't know that we know that they know.
Now I feel like I don't know what we know.
Exactly.
Maybe it's better that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is weird that thing happened, that Voldemort happened while the other thing happened.
There was another night that I was called to the station in the middle of the night to kick somebody off, but it was, I want to say they were just cussing.
Was it a freestyle rap by chance?
No, it was more just to like.
Was it the man and the woman?
Was it a man and a woman?
Was it the man in the mirror?
Oh, I'm talking about the man in the mirror. I was asking him to change his ways.
Change his ways.
Yeah.
And
No, but
then you
this-
had to kick him out.
It was one where I had to like physically leap across a person and just hit the transmitter switch because they
Really?
wouldn't stop. Yeah.
Wow.
And
It
it
was like the
wasn't
most
a
action
freestyle
movie
rap?
shot. No. I think it was just like they were saying that the administration of the university, was
Oh.
bad, but they were using more colorful language than bad.
Really?
Nothing about shoes being puked in at all.
Not
Very
that.
No, that was something else.
Yeah,
I remember that.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Oh my
I just-
goodness.
I just remember, and maybe it was during Sluice's tenure when he had to constantly monitor the freestyle rap show to make sure that no bad words got out in the air. Do you remember that one? It was like
No,
whatever
we had a
night
freestyle rap show, like a whole show of it.
he was. So his
And
name
not
was-
knowing the context, that's the sluiciest thing I've heard.
it was
This is the chaperone of the freestyle rap
it
show.
was a DJ named Daryl, and
Did he
I
go by
remember
DJ
Daryl.
Daryl?
DJ Daryl. We
Okay.
called him Sterile Daryl. And
I don't remember that.
I don't know, that's what we call him. So anyway, and he would always do a freestyle rap, and it would be live on the air, and we had to listen, even though we weren't wanting to listen, to make sure he didn't, because he would always say, have good luck. So hey
Oh.
ladies, I like to I can't say that. Like he would intentionally try to say something and then he wouldn't, but we would be like, yeah, he's gonna definitely one of these days he's gonna
One of these
definitely
days.
say something, because it was live, and he would be rapping and just coming up with verses, and it was, he intentionally was making us think, oh yeah, he's gonna say, and then he would be like, oh, I can't say that on the radio, and then he would
Oh,
keep going.
sounds like an asshole.
Yeah, it was torture. It was torture. So I think it was either Sluice or Jim had to at least one point say, hey, you need to stop doing that, because I think he may have actually said a bad word.
So, Bridget, did you ever swear on the air?
I did, but it wasn't at Radio X. And Jim actually could attest to this. We were both working at Q107. He was on the sports channel, and I was on regular Q107. And the Goo Goo Dolls, the Goo Goo Dolls came to. It's like an ESPN radio thing. So, and it was right after Iris came out. So it was a huge, huge concert. It was a really big deal that they were there. When they were first booked, everyone was like, "Who?" And then, so I was standing there. It was my first big celebrity interview. I was at Hedgecock Fieldhouse before they renovated it. And I'm live on the air, and I was like, "Hi, it's Bridgette from Q107, blah, blah, blah." And Johnny Resnick came down the hallway, and I went, "Oh, holy shit." So I just was stunned. And it was the first, I met Henry Rollins and stuff at the X, but this was the first time, on commercial radio, and he was such a big star at the time.
Yes.
And, so I said, "Oh, holy shit." And then Jim was like, "Don't do that next time." And I was like, "Okay, all right." And, it was pretty funny.
Oh, that's
so when you
good.
say Jim, you mean Koski, not Bollinger, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But Jim Bollinger was also there, and there's a picture of all of us with a contest winner. And I don't know if you know Robbie Takak from the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yes.
He's the other guy in the Goo Goo Dolls.
He was really nice.
He was really nice. And when they took the picture, he grabbed my ass super hard.
Maybe
and so everybody's
nice.
got this big smile, and I'm making this face. It's so embarrassing or whatever, but I love to show that picture because I was like, "Oh, he was grabbing my ass. That's why I look like that."
That's fantastic. I just remember interviewing them, and he was super nice, and Johnny Resnick was not as nice.
No, Johnny Resnick is kind of gross.
Yeah,
he was the big star. He was the face.
Yeah,
he's like, I could be doing so many other things besides talking to you in Marquette right now.
Yeah, right. We booked this before we were famous.
Yeah, he's like, "Dude, we're from Buffalo. This is like home. This is cool. Let's do this. You got some beers?" I'm good.
Exactly.
He was a real normal dude. Yeah.
Yeah. So, there was something else I wanted to ask you, and it was remind you, and it's now slipping my mind. I can't remember what it was. Had to do, of course, with a night at Radio X.
There were so many.
And there's so many that we can't talk about because we'll be completely honest. There were certain periods of time when we were off there where we were just a bunch of snippy college kids just poking fun at each other. Yeah. Granted, it was some of the funniest shit we ever did, right? But we're all adults now, and we're all different people. Well, kind of different people than we used to be. Some of us are still kind of the same.
But slower moving and older. That's me.
Yeah, it's weird for me. Now, I'm a nurse now, and it's weird for me to talk about things that I used to do. With the kids that I work with, and I was like, "Oh, this one time I was at Hiawatha, and I had snorted a whole 8-ball, and and everyone just looks at you, and I'm like, it was 30 years ago, though, so it's all right."
Wasn't yesterday.
So don't do drugs, kids. Don't do
drugs. Right. Don't do drugs. But yeah, so that's always weird. And I'm like, but I should probably not talk about this at work. In my old job, I could talk about it all the time, but not now.
Yeah.
It was actually like a badge of honor. Now here, it's like I'm unprofessional all of a sudden. Right.
Yeah, I got to go in to talk to this person who's withdrawing from opiates about their drug problem, and I'm just dripping with hypocrisy. Hello.
That's called being an adult, kids.
Yeah.
I have the same thing when I'm at work because I work for a major corporation. I'd say that like I'm a snooty bastard. I work for a major corporation, but I'll talk about things that we all collectively did 30 plus years ago. And like the 20 somethings that work with me, they do so much stuff that makes us just look like little kittens. Like They tell me the things that they had been doing. And I'm like, wow, you're amazing. Don't ever tell me that. I don't know how you got hired here.
Kids.
Like we have one guy that I work with, and I this is totally a joke. I don't know if this is true. That's why I'm not going to say his name. But he was telling me about how he goes to the Electric Forest show all the time. So in front of everybody in the office, or at least everybody who was there, I looked at him and says, "How the hell did you even pass the drug test?" And he was just mortified. And I was like, I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. Unless you shouldn't have.
Right. That's
And then
what he
tell
was
me.
thinking.
And then later on, he's like, "Oh, I know you were joking." And then he tells me about going. And I was like, "Yep, see, I totally knew. There's a reason that we say these things because we're not wrong."
So,
that reminds me. Do you mind if? Okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
So
No, go
previous to when we started recording, I asked if we could bring up Limp Bizkit again
yes,
yes.
definitely.
because we were having that very intellectual conversation about them
That
before
was-
we started.
Hey, all radio folks, that's what we call a professional segue.
Oh, thanks. I still got it.
Still got it.
We have. I got to be careful. We have a long-term patient on our floor right now
Yeah.
who is a senior citizen gentleman.
Okay.
And the first time I saw him, he had on the rattiest version of the black Radio X t-shirt with our logo, but it was the yellow one. Remember that one year we
Yeah.
did black t-shirt? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he had that on, and I started talking to him. I'm like, oh my God, dude. Like, and so we started talking, and he brought up, he was talking to this 25-year-old nurse that I work with, who is very much 25.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just put it that way. So
Okay.
he was telling her, have you ever heard of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds? Because they're the best band there ever was. And she's like, Nick Cave and the what? And so she listened to it and she starts playing it for the other kids that I work with. And she's like, listen to this. I'm like, have you guys never heard of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds? Like, what? And so then they're having a conversation and I was busy charting. And she leans over to this carrier and she goes, dude, have you ever heard Limp Bizkit? And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Did you just ask him if he's ever heard of Limp Bizkit? She's like, yeah, I guess they came out when we were kids or something. And this guy, he's like, he's really kind of, I mean, he's really mad and stuff. And then they had like this album about hot dogs and it was really popular. So, I mean, I don't know if you ever heard from him, but you should check it out. And I was like, oh my God, I am the oldest person I know right now. And so the look on my face was just absolutely stunned. Like, you guys have never heard of Limp Bizkit. Wow. So, yeah.
Oh.
So then you sat down in your wheelchair and you started rolling. What?
Nice.
Nice. Very nice.
Well done, Jace. So, what have you guys been listening to lately? What type of music? What's been playing a lot?
I got to be honest with you. I don't read books anymore, and I don't really listen to music. I wish I did. At all. Like I have this massive record collection, and that I'm constantly adding to, but none of the stuff I bought over the last probably 3 years is even open.
Wow.
And so I don't know.
Just don't have time.
It's not really that. It's that I don't go to it. Like it makes me sad.
Really?
Like I don't want to be a huge downer, but I mean it makes me sad to listen to stuff like that. And then I, with the pandemic and I don't see a lot of people because I work nights. So like, who am I going to talk to about it? The dog? Like, hey, this guy is really great. But I don't know if do you watch Lublin videos on YouTube? Do you know who he is?
No.
So he
What did
does
you
the
say?
Lublin.
Okay, I thought that's what
Lublin.
you said.
He's
Lublin.
a Canadian dude, and he looks. Do you remember Justin Crick? He was a DJ with us for a little while.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
remember what his DJ name was, but he looks a lot like Justin Crick. Anyway, he does these random internet drama turned into music videos, and that's kind of what I got started on because they are so funny. But then he also is an actual singer, and he has a beautiful voice. So I guess if I had, I have listened to a couple of his songs, and that's really the full extent of my music listening right now.
Okay. Lublin.
Lublin, Lubalin.
Writing it down. Jace, what about you? What you been listening to, buddy?
Since the 3 days ago I talked to you.
I know that's true.
Actually, I haven't for this little bit of time. I'm actually kind of like Bridgette. I haven't really listened to anything over the past few days, but I have been because I'm addicted to podcasts. I'm addicted so much. Instead of just being the user, I became the dealer.
Exactly.
I've been trying to catch up on all of the indie podcasts that we have befriended and made friends with on Twitter.
Yeah.
And we are friends with so many of them now. I'm like, there's not enough work day anymore for me to listen to all of you guys.
It's really hard to find the time because I don't like to just listen to bits of a podcast. I need to listen to
I like to listen to the whole thing
to finish. So if I don't have the time, like an hour or whatever long the length of the show is, I just find something else, because I don't like to just say, okay, I'm going to listen to 10 minutes of this and then I'll get back to it a day later or something. But so it's pretty much lawn mowing time when I get all my podcast listening in. But yeah, I've definitely been listening to podcasts. I've been listening to a lot of, I found, I'm normally not on Spotify, but I've been on Spotify a little more lately. And I've found that there are a lot of playlists of cover songs that I haven't yet dove into. And so I've been finding some new cover songs, which is always fun for me. So that's what I've been listening to lately, is new and interesting cover songs over the, a lot of punk covers and stuff like that.
I forgot you and I have that in common. We both really like cover songs.
Yeah.
Didn't we do a cover song show one time?
We did, yes. And Jace and I did a podcast about it too, at least the first of probably a few that we'll have to do. But
yeah, we could do tons of cover song podcasts because there's just so many good ones out there.
We could do a show just about Me First and the Gimme Gimmes.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, they're a great band.
Yeah.
So, but to circle back on the podcast I've been listening to a lot of our indie friends out there, but one I've been catching up on, it's a podcast called So Dead. Mm-hmm. It's a woman here in Michigan. She's out of Lansing. Her name's Jen Carpenter. Mm-hmm. And her podcast is about, like a lot of podcasts are, but is about murder and
true crime.
Things like that, true crime.
Yeah.
But it's all with a Michigan connection. So it's really kind of interesting. And she's opened not that this is a commercial for So Dead, but I feel like it goes along with it.
Yeah.
She's opened a bookstore and an ice cream shop in Lansing. And
like
a funny story about
ice cream
that.
Shop?
Yes, it's a true. Yes,
Wouldn't it be fun to come up with ice cream flavors that were all about like true crime things?
She opened a bookstore, and then she I want to say she either rented out or bought the place next to the bookstore.
Gotcha.
And opened up an ice cream store next to it. So both of her businesses are right next to each other. But a funny story about that is we heard about her bookstore. Amy and I listened to her podcast. So we heard about her bookstore, and a few months ago we drove down there. We're like, we're going to go, because I was going down to Elderly Music for something. I'm like, let's go to her bookstore too. Mm-hmm. So we went there.
Wait, stop. What is Elderly Music?
Music for old people.
It's music.
Do you have to shop there? Okay, all right.
No, it's a guitar shop. I was shopping for a bass guitar.
Okay. An old one?
It opens at 6 in the morning.
No, it's actually brand new. Dinner's at 4. You know how it goes.
It's on all the bus routes.
Yeah, we went to her bookstore and it was closed, so we have to make another trip back down there to go.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. But it's cool.
So Dead. We should do a true crime episode. I bet we would get a lot of listeners.
We could just call an episode True Crime, get a bunch of listeners, be like, hey, Mike, welcome to X Radio X.
But since you're here, stick around.
But yeah, that's and because a lot's been going on at work. So I don't know, listening to music sometimes when I'm actually listening to anything when I'm busy at work becomes a real pain.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
that's true.
I have the car ride back and forth, or if I'm mowing lawn like you, that's when I do a lot of my podcast listening.
Exactly. Well, I think it's time for us to consider wrapping up. We usually do a song lyric to sort of stick a fork in things, but we want to remind everybody to tune in to all of our socials and stuff. So we've got.
Yeah, I should write those down, huh? So
we've got the Twitter at XRadioX1, and Jace is on.
We have an Instagram, and it's X Radio X Podcast. I know that's a very difficult one. It's hard hard to remember.
We barely know our own stuff.
Yeah.
I was actually, what's funny? I was actually talking to somebody who does like podcast. I don't want to say like advice, but she's on Twitter a lot, and she offers a lot of advice.
Does she podcast consulting?
Yeah.
Okay.
But she gave me some free consulting, Jace. I didn't have to. Yeah, I know.
It wasn't quit, was it?
It wasn't. No, that was the thing I was hoping she wasn't going to say. And she said, "You guys are doing good." But she gave me some tips, so I'll share with you off the air, obviously. But yeah. So that's the Twitter. You got to check us out on the Twitter. If you listened to this episode and you liked it or hated it, give us a 5-star rating on whatever format you listen to things, and just say these guys suck, 5 stars.
Yep.
Totally cool with that.
I'd much rather stick my fist in a blender. 5 stars.
Ain't no shame in our game. Say whatever you want about us, 5 stars. And definitely, find us on the Twitter and interact, because we like.
Yeah,
to
you
do
should
that.
add us on the Twitter.
And
X Radio X1.
like and heart and all those things.
Yeah, send us gifts
or gifts. So what
No
what
gifts.
lyrics
I
should
don't
we
want
do?
any gifts.
What lyrics should we do?
I'm at a loss.
Anything from Tad that you want to focus on?
No.
Bridgette, this is often where the show falls apart and we have to
Is
pause
it?
and-
Okay.
Yeah.
How about
Yeah.
like, yesterday I went outside with my mama's mason jar, caught a lovely butterfly, and then it dies and it's sad.
I don't think we should. I think that's it right there. That's the closer. We're not redoing it. Nailed it. She did the disclaimer. She did the closer. We're out, folks. It's X Radio X.
Sorry.